AFC, the Ravens have already clinched their division, but Lamar Jackson takes his MVP campaign to Cleveland today. He leads the league in touchdown passes, QBR, and already has the most rushing yards by a QB in NFL history. Jackson threw 5 more touchdowns last week and was mic'd up in a win over the Jets.
I'm trying to drive the Bentley today. I'm trying to drive the Bentley today. Bentayga. I'm trying to drive the Bentayga. We need to do kickoff right now. We need to do kickoff right now, bro. Run a shot. Run a shot.
The pickup is enough to give Lamar Jackson the single season
I'm good.
rushing record for a quarterback in NFL history.
Congrats, boy. Love you, dog. I love you. Hey, hold my quad I just found. Run a shot.
Slings it, caught, touchdown!
What up?
Give me the AFC.
Holy
I
trust.
never experienced this.
Hey, congratulations. Hey, we did that, not me.
Man, has he been fun to watch. Baltimore clinches the #1 seed in the AFC if they beat the Browns today. They're on a pretty incredible run. 10 straight wins, with their last loss coming in a home loss to Cleveland in Week 4. Our Josina Anderson is at First Energy Stadium with more on the Ravens today.
Thanks, Sam. Well, Ravens running back Mark Ingram told me, quote, "Of course we're ready for some get back after losing to Cleveland in Week 4. But he actually said in that game, I felt like we did have some running success, but the difference was we made some critical mistakes that got us behind, specifically 2 interceptions from Lamar Jackson and 1 fumble loss from Ingram himself. But Ingram was very animated and saying we're down for whatever to get that #1 seed today by any means necessary. Now, as for the Browns defense that was able to sack Lamar Jackson 4 times in Week 4, besides being without Myles Garrett and safety Morgan Burnett, I'm told they'll be without defensive end Olivier Vernon for the 3rd straight week with that knee injury. Now, Browns linebacker Joe Sharpe, who led the way with 16 tackles in Week 4, he told me in that game we were able to do some trick 8-man fronts where we had one guy kind of shade the box but also play the pass more. Now we just kind of very simple in doing cover 2, cover 3, and cover 4 straight up with newer and younger guys. And lastly, I talked to Odell Beckham Jr. Saturday evening. He said, Joe, everyone's been saying we're going to play like it's our last chance to get into the playoffs because really we have to give it everything we have right now. Sam, back to you.
Yeah, it would go a long way to head into the offseason for this Browns team. Look, they still have a 0.8% chance to make the playoffs. So
there's a chance.
It's possible.
Right.
But she mentioned
There's a
Odell Beckham
chance.
Jr. This is a guy who only had 2 catches in that last game. Yes, it was a win, but it'll be interesting to see at home how he performs. He's getting ready to go. There's been a lot of questions about his performance this year. No questions about these cleats. I mean, maybe 1,000 questions. Is there a battery in there? Is this?
Man,
he's not going to get fined for this, is he, Randy?
Man, I hope he wears them. That look Grinch. I hope he going to turn into the Grinch and they be stingy with that ball today. But I'm going to tell you what, Odell Beckham, Marcus Peters, that's a must-see matchup.
Yeah, the question today, whenever you have a rematch like this, where it was a lopsided game, you lose like that at home when you have that much talent. Now, Teddy, what are expectations for Lamar against a team that knows they can beat him?
I think they have to change in terms of whatever defensive coordinator is going up against Lamar Jackson now, Sam, because the old thinking was, okay, let's keep him in the pocket. Let's force him to be a quarterback, inside leverage, force him to make him throws outside the numbers. That's easy to say, but what he's done over the course of the year is only be one of the top quarterbacks in terms of completion percentage outside the numbers, 69%, which is second in the NFL. You see the Rams right here to his left, inside leverage, force them to make the throws, the tough throws outside the numbers, and just over and over again, Lamar Jackson is showing everyone, if you just want to gear up against this run, I can also drop back and hit that back foot and then make these tough throws. From the inside out, defensive lineman comes out to play inside out, and then there it is again. All this inside leverage, you almost can see what defensive coordinators are thinking the same thing. Here's a pass rush plan, setting the edges from the New England Patriots, making them stay in there, pressure up the middle. He can't make this throw. Yes, he can. This is why he's playing so well, because he's showing now there's more to me than just being, all of this wildcat running and all of these 11-11 football things. Deep ball accuracy also. You see all of this as a defensive player, a defensive coordinator, and you're just looking at this team and you're looking at your coach, what kind of answers do you have? That's what you're thinking to yourself.
But the interesting thing about this matchup, though, again, the division matchup, the last time these two teams played, the Browns beat them. They didn't just beat them, they demolished them. It was like 40-28 with 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. It was an absolute beatdown, and they got up early, and the Ravens simply aren't built to come from behind. And I think that's the most surprising thing, because all we've seen so far is amazing Baltimore Ravens. We've seen nothing bad from them. It's been all highlights. It's been an MVP-type season. You don't even recognize this team when they're behind. That's why it's important for the Browns to get up early. And I think this about this game also. Playing against the Ravens forces the Browns into play calling that they should be doing anyway. Baker Mayfield, I believe, is a good quarterback. Nick Chubb is going to be a great runner.
Yes.
They are at their best when Nick Chubb is getting fed the ball over and over and over again in the run game, in the screen game, whatever. And then when Baker is getting the ball out of his hand quick, he's a very good quick rhythm passer, and it starts with passes to Jarvis Landry. So in that game, when they were just trying to establish the run, Baker Mayfield threw for 342 yards.
Yes.
Nick Chubb had 3 touchdowns, and I'm telling you, it was a beatdown. And so for whatever reason, this matchup brings out the best in the Cleveland Browns, and I don't think it's necessarily a pushover matchup, a pushover game today, even though I believe in the Baltimore Ravens. This one should be interesting.
Well, it's funny because you mentioned, Matt, that, the Browns pummeled the Ravens. They really did. They beat them at their own game. All right, Nick Chubb leads the league in rushing, all that stuff. But forget about the Browns. We talk way too much about them. This, to me, is about the Baltimore Ravens improving their championship medal. I remember back in the days, the New England Patriots got beat 31-0 by the Buffalo Bills to start the season. Lawyer Malloy goes over there.
Yeah.
How did they end that year? You guys beat them 31-0.
You got to right the wrong about what happened on your way to a championship.
Exactly, and that's what I expect today. I expect Baltimore not just to win this game, but to win big and make sure that Cleveland understands that, hey, guess what? We're a heck of a lot better football team than you. They have Jimmy Smith now in there. Marcus Peters, you talked about, he's there. And the big nose tackle, Williams, is also healthy. No excuses. Baltimore proves their championship medal today.
If they want to be able to be talked about as a championship caliber team, they really have to go on the road and destroy Cleveland. It was a very balanced attack in the first meeting in Baltimore where they didn't have the Marcus Peters, and Odell Beckham was handled to 2 catches. But I think that the Baltimore Ravens, with the secondary that they have, they're able to put a little bit more in the box, because I know if Nick Chubb had 3 touchdowns and ran all over the Baltimore Ravens, their point of emphasis this game, going on the road, stop the run and put the ball in Baker Mayfield's hand. Matt, you alluded to the game that Baker Mayfield had, 340-plus yards. He had a great day, but no Odell Beckham. The Baltimore Ravens will be able to play a little bit more man coverage today because of the run that I just talked about, but that gives the Marcus Peters, Odell Beckham matchup a must-see TV.
But don't you think there's something to be said for playing with nothing to lose? I mean, technically, there's a tiny chance the Browns still could make it into the playoffs. But with the talent they have, if they play free and, like you said, get off to an early, strong start, this could be trouble for the
sometimes game planning against a team that you know has nothing to lose, a coach that has nothing to lose, players that have nothing to lose. They'll do things that don't make sense. They'll all-out blitz you when they shouldn't. They'll rush 3 when they shouldn't. They'll take chances on 4th down, fake punt, fake field goal. So, yes, to answer your question, it is a little bit tougher to sort of predict what's going to happen.
I think how hard we watch the Cleveland Browns play today will be how much they care about playing for Freddie Kitchens. because of all the talk about what can happen at the end of this season, all right? I want to play for this guy because I want this guy to stick around. And how else can you show it? How better can you show it by saying, all right, Baltimore Ravens are coming in. Let's get this victory. This is the coach I want. This is the coach I want to play for going forward.
Do you think if he wins this game that Freddie's the coach next year?
It would say a lot. I don't know. I'm not the decision maker, but it would say a lot in terms of what the players feel and how he's been able to get them motivated to play for this particular game right here.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt. The big story in this one is the Baltimore Ravens. They've been the big story all year as Lamar Jackson is on his MVP campaign. But if they win today in Cleveland, it's the first time in franchise history. Think about all those great teams they've had. First time in franchise history, Baltimore is a #1 seed. So that will be very impressive. Look here, they're just looking to be the #1 team in the division. Who wants to win this thing? They've got to win 2 in a row to be the first place team in the NFC